Didn't you see it coming? Didn't you know the growth was coming? And if you stop to think that we're between I-95 and US 1, between Richmond and Washington, D.C., yes, we know the growth is coming. You're not going to stop it. My real concern about saving Crow's Nest is the fact that if it is not saved now, it is never going to be saved. This is the time, this is the land, and this is the space that needs to be saved.
When Stafford County looks back at what were the people who were the governance of our county thinking of, I want them to say, you know, whoever it was that decided to protect Crow's Nest, what a forward-thinking group of people. Because now, when all of Stafford County has been developed, we have this place to come. My vision is that we would open Crow's Nest up to be utilized somewhat like Caledon, where school children could come out there and could have an opportunity during certain times of the year to go over to where the heron rookery is and to see these incredible prehistoric-looking birds, to actually have almost a chance to feel like you step back into history. If you can develop that or begin to give children that opportunity to see what nature looks like in its truest and purest form, which is what Crow's Nest gives you, they then begin to appreciate their environment. Crow's Nest has the potential of being an amazing opportunity for children to understand environmental science, to understand biology, to experience all of the things that at this point most people don't ever see. Even with the parks that we have in Stafford, there's nothing like this. There's not a place like this. But once you allow houses to be built on that property, that's gone forever.
There is no quiet place in the white man's cities, no place to hear the unfurling of leaves in spring or the rustle of an insect's wings. But perhaps it is because I am a savage and do not understand. The clatter only seems to insult the ears. And what is there to life if man cannot hear the lonely cry of a whippoorwill?
We know where some of my ancestors' graves are, but unlike the white man, Indian people didn't mark their graves, because their ancestors always walked behind them. It was only the physical remains that were buried. In this vast area of Crow's Nest, there are graves of my ancestors, and their spirits still walk through these woods. It does hurt me somewhat to think that we're talking of taking their woods away from them, and they will no longer have a place to walk.
As a planning commissioner for the last 10 or 12 years, the question that I get most consistently is, you are the professionals in the county. Why was the land not saved? Why don't we have more parks? Why don't we have more open space?
Stafford's in a non-attainment area, and the importance of improving the quality of our air, very much we depend on trees to do that.
I was told that the average acre of woodlands produces sufficient oxygen to support 20 people. So if you take the 4,000 acres that we have here in Crow's Nest, you're producing the oxygen necessary to support 80,000 people, which is almost the entire population of Stafford. The 4,000 acres of Crow's Nest, we have a safety valve to ensure that our air doesn't become worse than it is already.
These lily pads, what we're looking at is a species known as spatterdock nufar luteum, and spatterdock actually provides a nursery ground for spawning fish, and these young fish hide in these shallow vegetated areas. It protects them. If Crow's Nest were to be timbered or developed, there would be changes, not only to the biota and the ecology of Crow's Nest, but the water quality of these creeks would change drastically. There would be more runoff, more turbidity, more silt going in the water. It would smother the aquatic life. It would change the species composition. Water quality could become so compromised that fish wouldn't want to live up here. If there was no Crow's Nest, the fish populations would dwindle to nothing.
You have a handful of fishermen left the Hill Plains that make the creek still fish and active and come creek. And for generations, their fathers, the fathers before them, that's why a lot of them made a living was right there in Tom Creek. And development is very dangerous to them because people naturally, when they buy lots on the water, first thing they want is water. And once they get the walls and the boats, they don't want all of these nets and pots and stuff in the body of water. They have to run their boats through. And they think that's very important to them to get the pleasure boats into the docks. But they're taking a livelihood, a living, away from people that's making a living there for generations.
This peninsula, its soil, 80% highly erodible. Steep slopes, 80% of those slopes are greater than 25%. Most jurisdictions don't build on slopes 25% or greater. Development is not going to be easy. The peninsula has very, very rough topography. The ridge line, there is a ridge line that goes down the peninsula. And normally that's where you want to do your development, high on the ridge. But the ridge on Crow's Nest is so narrow that only the road fits. Stafford's very own mission statement commands a balance between protection and development. And yet, in our county, less than 1% of our land is in parkland.
Just as my ancestors protected this land when they lived here, they lived in harmony with it. They didn't need to destroy it in order to survive. I don't think anybody can say that's an improvement.
If you fly over Stafford County, everywhere you look, you see human development, you see roads, you see houses, and then you get out over top of Crow's Nest, and it's nothing but a sea of green.
We also need to know all of the things that are going to happen to that land if it is developed. And as I see new subdivisions coming in every week, this is not just, it comes in once a month or once every 3 or 4 months. It's weekly. And I don't think that unless you have the background, you can have any conception of what's going to happen to that property.
We have other developments close by there and have seen the impact of developing a place like the understructure of Crow's Nest. And again, you never restabilize it. If we don't preserve this, then in 25 years, and in 50 years, and in 100 years, this will not be something that anybody has an opportunity to experience.
Unfortunately, at the Board of Supervisors level, we have not seen unanimous consent about how to solve this problem. And when your elected leaders don't show the leadership that you think they ought to be showing on an issue, it's really important that we get involved as citizens to help them see what is the right thing to do.
The most exciting thing to me about this is that there's never been any sort of partisan label put on this. This is about an understanding that all of us feel like this is a place that must be preserved. There's going to be a need to get in contact with each of your local board members. It'll be important to talk to the state representatives. It'll be important to talk to your federal representatives, to talk to Bill Howell and John Chichester, to talk to Joanne Davis, and to talk to George Allen, and to talk to John Warner. It's important to let even George Bush know that you think this is such an important place that all of us working together want to see it saved.
It would cost less to purchase and preserve all of Crow's Nest than to build one school. And even if you're not a tree hugger, but if you're a taxpayer in the county of Stafford County, it's in your best interest to see that Crow's Nest is protected in its entirety from residential development.
You also have to worry about now what the infrastructure is going to cost you. You also are going to have roads, the environmental or the ecological part of it, going to have a library there, social services. And what are you going to do about Parks and Rec? It goes on and on and on throughout the county. All of those things affect it. So $30 million. $30 million, while it sounds like a tremendous amount of money, is only a drop in the bucket if you start putting people in there.
Will you teach your children what we have taught our children? That the earth is our mother? What befalls the earth befalls all the sons of the earth. This we know. The earth does not belong to man. Man belongs to the earth. All things are connected like the blood that unites us all. Man did not weave the web of life. He is merely a strand in it. And what he does to the web, he does to himself.
The only question now is who will step forward and join our efforts to say this irreplaceable part of Virginia. You can write letters to the local newspapers. You can attend public meetings and give Crow's Nest your voice. Contact savecrowsnest.org for further information. Thank you.